Quarterfinals is historically the round of the bracket stage that delivers the most upsets and the closest matches, especially in the losers bracket. This year was no different, and perhaps even set a record in that regard. Let's check out the map pool before heading into the match recap. Quarterfinals saw the addition of two OWC original tracks, Illustrious Drifters by MetaHuman Boy in Nomad 4, and Nastrand by Hellblind in Tiebreaker. While Illustrious Drifters was not as popular as Paling last week, it saw more than its fair share of play, and the addition of 3 custom emotes to the OWC Live Twitch channel thanks to Azer. 3 maps were only picked once, Nomad 1, Hard Rock 2, and Tiebreaker, while 5 were picked over 10 times, Nomad 2, Hidden 3, Hard Rock 1, DT 1, and Freemod 2. Reading and Speed continued to rack up the bans this week, with Nomad 5 and DT 2 having the highest ban rate. Crowd favorites included picks like Nomad 4 for the cute emotes, Hidden 1 for a good song and close maps, Hard Rock 3 for some truly absurd team scores, DT 1 for a super high amount of breakpoints, Freemod 1 for getting us close to a new OWC PP record, and Freemod 3 for funny patterning. With that, we can talk about how the teams navigated this map pool in quarterfinals, starting in the winners bracket. Poland versus China went about how you would expect. Poland continued to show extreme dominance in this match, winning by an average of 611k on their 6 wins, and setting top scores on 3 maps this weekend, Nomad 5, DT2, and Freemod 4, alongside being top 4 on every single map they played. China, however, still showed they have some fight in them. Despite the crushing losses on every other map in this match, they still pulled out the top score on Hard Rock 3 in what is potentially the single best team score of the weekend.
There's a strong start on this precision lineup as the 4 Musketeers may just land themselves a 4-way FC on Hard Rock 3. Another miss from Milosh just to cap it off. Down goes David. The dream is gone, but that doesn't change. Milk Tea ends towards the very end of the map, but that doesn't change how much of a disgusting team score that is from China.
This team score is seriously disgusting. Just go look at all of the rest of the scores on this map. It is truly absurd how China got this score. While they did manage this point, China lost all 6 other maps. A special shout out goes to Crystal, Milk Tea, and David, all placing in the top 30 of individual performers for China, while Poland saw Malashevsky and Milosh both in the top 5, along with Kostarek and Sharitori in the top 25. China finally drops to the losers bracket, while Poland secures top 6 and a spot in the winners semifinals. The United States versus the United Kingdom ending up going the USA's way in spectacular fashion. They left 0 room for the UK to wiggle their way into the match and completely shut the UK out 6-0 in a clean sweep. The closest map in this entire match was a 199,000 score lead for the US on the UK's first pick of DT1 remote control, with the average score difference in this match being a dominating 483,888 points. During the course of this match, the USA got the top score on 2 maps, both DT4 and Hidden 2, with Rectagon showing why he's still feared among every North American tournament player. The US moves on to the winners semifinals once again, while the UK heads down to the losers bracket.
The absolute classic break on the diff spike across the lobby. But Rectagon and Pez, brilliant scores from them both. Nice combos at the end there from so many of the lobby, hitting those ending jumps. But the point was won here by Rectagon and Pez, mostly for the US. Big scores there through that second half. And that's
Australia and South Korea played a somewhat closer bout, with South Korea taking 2 points off the projected podium finisher Australia. Australia would pick tapping and aim mechanics in this match and do very well with it, with the Secret Box earning the top PP score of the weekend with his hidden full combo on Freemod 1.
I'm pretty sure they're going to hit this. Yes, they do.
Yeah. No spacing in that last stream, just a bit of a stamina check. Just coming to the ending. There it is, double FC, 8 100s and 6 100s respectively for Emrek and a Secret Box.
Australia would also take a break point before South Korea finally found their first win on their second pick of Hard Rock 1, bringing the score to 3-1 by a mere 71,000 points.
Left. What do we see happen in this ending here? Emrek with the miss!
Emrek misses! I think they get it anyways if Karcher continued to hold. And it is going to be enough, I think, in the ending. It would have been so close if Emrek held, but I think... Oh, Karcher missed. It won't matter, I don't think. That should be a South Korea point. Okay, hold on. If Emrek held there, South Korea would have lost that off that Karcher miss, but it was not meant to be. The S rank from Emrek instead, and Karcher holds on just for long enough to get their first point on the board and box again with another FC. That was extremely close.
From here, both teams won their own picks decisively until the final breakpoint came in from Australia on South Korea's fourth pick of Fremod 2, winning the map and the match by over 700k. MREC continued to be MREC this week, this time sporting the top individual performance of the weekend and a staggering 895k average score across 8 maps. A secret box, not to be outdone, also placed in the top 5 with a similar scoreline alongside solid support from 4 others on the team. South Korea also had a very solid run with their star players especially, but Australia proved to be too tough an opponent, knocking the defending champions to losers bracket. Australia secures a semifinals bout and grudge match against Team USA in the semifinals, with the USA looking to revive their win streak and preserve their dominance in OWC, and Australia looking for revenge after being eliminated by the USA last year in 3rd place.
Looks like as Australia close things out 6-2. Triple FC on the Fremont 2.
Before this next match was played, Canada had only ever won against Germany once in OWC history back in their 2023 round of 16 bout, where Canada went on to also win against the US in quarterfinals in the same year. They would lose to Germany in the finals in 2023 as well, but Canada showed in that match that they have what it takes to beat Germany in the early rounds of OWC, and they proved that again here with a 6-3 win over Germany in the quarterfinals, their second win against Germany ever. This match started with a quick 3-0 for Canada, winning their own first 2 picks and converting a breakpoint on Germany's first pick of DT3.
Combo is there for Canada as well. It's just Yarov holding on for Germany here. He's got nothing. He can't compete.
No, Yeri and Tim Kackner are doing what they can, but Nujabes, TS Fury is matching one of them, and Pink Eye Fan, the speed prodigy for Canada, paying dividends here. The investment working out in Pink Eye Fan 2013. Germany then traded points with Canada, both teams winning their own picks, Germany on Nomad 2 and Canada on Nomad 4. Then came the second Canadian breakpoint on another DT mechanics pick from Germany, DT1. Another breakpoint, 5-1 off the full combo for Zudinator. Perfect FC on remote control.
Oh, what is she doing?
Germany was now down 5-1 with Canada at match point. They needed a miracle as Canada went for the throat with their next pick, Hidden 1. Luckily for Germany, their captain, Kriller, has been known to turn water to wine on many occasions, doing so again here on Hidden 1 and securing a second point and the start of a comeback for Germany. Tim Kackner's still holding on to the score. He finds the miss as well. Kriller is still going, but I don't know if there's enough time to mark. There's still definitely a lot of map left. It's 60k, 50k. It's coming.
He's gonna hold it.
For Germany, more misses for Canada.
Can he do it? It's gonna flip.
He's the only one doubling Kriller. Can you hold this 70? Heroics for Germany at the end of the map.
Triple
More misses
miss.
to come out, but it doesn't matter. Kriller. Holy Kriller. 1v9. Germany then took their own Hard Rock 1 pick without much trouble, making the score 5-3 Canada. Things now looked a little dicey for Canada. They had to win here with this next pick, or they would be forced to either breakpoint Germany again or win on tiebreaker. Canada chose Fremod 4 to avoid either of those outcomes and managed it by the skin of their teeth. On their side and extend it. Cyprock misses. Big combo down for Germany. Can Canada bring it back?
Oh, it's so little, so late, but I think Canada are going to do it. That scorebar's going to go over. As long as Jujubes holds to the end, he's got Monterio for support as well as Silas. It's the team versus the man, and it is Canada who are going to pull through and bring home.
Both Germany and Canada played a very good match in this quarterfinals bout, but ultimately the better consistency for Canada in this early stage pool won out. Canada moves on to the winners semifinals, securing top 6, and Germany drops down to the losers bracket. Canada's run in the winners bracket is sure to face heavy scrutiny under the number 1 seed out of qualifiers, Team Poland, who look to make good on that number 1 seed and win OWC this year. Good luck to both teams in that match. Let's move now to the losers bracket, where we saw a decent amount of seeding upsets. Russia versus Spain was the first match of the weekend, being played Friday at 20 UTC. This match was expected to be a slaughter for Russia, a team most people expected to be top 8 before qualifiers, and who came into this weekend with a chip on their shoulder after having the only upset loss in the winners bracket round of 16 to China. Spain, however, had some fight in them. They managed to take a breakpoint on Russia's second pick, Remote Control.
Yeah, it should be. That break from Alif makes it close, but I believe combos are just even enough. Maybe it's like a 200 combo dip. Okay, there we go. That break from Welter is going to seal the deal. Spain with their first point being a break point. Russia picking into the double time once more, not gonna prevail this time around, as Spain proved themselves to be the stronger DT1 team.
And their third pick of free mod 4.
And a Corey now. So, but I mean, up to 1k combo is going to be more than enough to cover those recoveries on the Russia side. 200k wall buffer, no time remaining, and Spain gets another break point.
These, however, would be the only points Spain earned in this match, with Russia winning 5 maps by over 450k. These wins include the number 1 team score on Hidden 1 over the whole weekend, beating out teams like Germany and Canada. While Russia won this match very convincingly, only giving up 2 points and accruing a massive score difference on most of their own picks, history will remember Spain fondly this year. Spain not only found their first match win since 2016, winning 2 matches in the group stage, they also found their first and only bracket stage win in the losers bracket round of 16. This top 24 finish for Spain is also their best run ever in the OWC World Cup. Commiserations to Spain on the loss, and good luck next year. Russia, with this win, move on to the next round of the losers bracket.
That is the map. I mean, later drops, the score was starting to shift over to Spain's side because of that recovery combo, getting it when it mattered most, but Welter holding onto this FC1100 to his name as we close out the map to finalize our first breakpoint here. The Wiggle straight strikes it out. Unfortunately, there will be no FCs on Jetpack Race because of that Wiggle 8-miss coming through it.
Russia's opponent in that next match would be decided by the Philippines versus Indonesia. This match happened to be on a triple overlap with both main streams occupied, so I streamed it on my Twitch channel instead. Thanks to Leo and Chile for allowing this and keeping 100% full VOD coverage during the quarterfinals. Indonesia, before this match, had only won against teams seeded lower than them and only lost to teams seeded higher than them. In other words, they were a part of 0 upsets thus far in OWC 2025. Unfortunately for them, that trend would continue in this match in pretty spectacular fashion. While Indonesia did get close to a point on Hidden 3,
Next, Major McQueen, Koyori holding on against Ikarusa and Ramu, but is there time? Is there an opportunity? One last section. This is it. Indonesia. Will they be able to steal this away? Going to the flow section. Watch out for the misses. GNX is gone. Major McQueen is gone. And Philippines takes the first point.
and take a point on DT1,
Their side, no more combo. And Lifeline is the remaining person for Indonesia. 350k still climbing up going to this ending section, Miles.
Good combo from Lifeline into the ending, and it's going to be a definitive victory for Indonesia on remote control.
the Philippines would, by and large, slaughter them on almost every other pick. While Nathan Ram took the spotlight once again as the carry player for the Philippines, he had great support from other players like Ikarusi and Lord Gabriel throughout the match. Indonesia, having been involved in 0 upsets throughout this entire World Cup, matches their seeding and places in the top 24 this year, while the Philippines continued on to face Russia for a spot in the top 12.
24 by a scoreline of 6-1. That's GG, well played.
Russia versus the Philippines started out predictably enough. Russia banned Nomad 5 and Nomad 1, Philippines banned DT2 and DT3. Russia, however, would only win their first pick by about 160k on Nomad 2 and win on their second pick of Hard Rock 1 by only 81k. The Philippines would have a field day on Fremod 2, winning by over 700,000 points, but they too would struggle on their second pick, winning by only 111k. From here, things started to get interesting. Russia ended up winning their next pick DT1 by a pretty small margin, only 150k, in large part due to the double 1 miss from Gamer and Lexus. They then took a breakpoint on the Philippines' next pick of Hidden 3, with Lexus again playing a huge role alongside Dasuk this time.
Both of them by the end of this, and Vlados with a supporting 600k. Scroll, despite the chain miss, covering pretty nicely, almost to 500k.
The Philippines would then strike back with a breakpoint on Russia's own Fremod 3 pick, with all credit going to Lord Gabriel's Nomad
The
FC.
worst score out of everyone in this lobby from the first time they played this. 385k. That was mostly off the back of a 16 miss. I imagine he chain missed a couple of the streams. Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
The Philippines, seeing this win on Flow Aim, decided on Fremod 1 as their next pick, but Russia prevailed with another breakpoint by 160k.
At the ending there, just unfortunately, no one else could really hold combo, and it will be slightly shifting over to the Philippines, but not by a noticeable margin. Probably about 150k in favor of Russia by the end of this map.
Yup, does look like it, Lord Gabriel.
Russia would then close it out cleanly with their free mod 4 last pick to secure top 12 once again. The Philippines didn't quite match their top 12 finish from last year, but they still had a good run and matched their seeding while putting up a solid fight against a team seeded within the top 8. For Russia, they must now prove themselves against the United Kingdom, another top 8 team, in order to make good on their seeding and avoid a top 12 exit. Congrats to the Philippines on top 16, and good luck to Russia and the UK next weekend. Moving on to our next quadrant of the losers bracket, Sweden is a team that, after 2023, people expect to have a solid run regardless of their seeding from qualifiers. This year, however, they would only match it, falling to New Zealand 6-1 for a top 24 finish. Sweden would find their 1 point this match on their third pick, free mod 2. From the very first map, it was clear New Zealand had the edge, carrying a tough underperformance from Silent Hill to a map win on Sweden's first pick of Hidden 3, and winning most other maps by a pretty wide margin and setting the 5th best score of the weekend on remote control.
Those to fall, Kyujin next to fall, Andros after that, and 7 people have missed, but Seikyu is still going for New Zealand, the only player to make it out of that section alive.
In the home stretch, a couple tapping, a couple bursts left to go, one big aim pattern in this ending. New Zealand have already won the pick, but can Seikyu, FC, remote control, in match, and he can!
Oh my God.
There we go! What a performance, what a score from him, man.
New Zealand, with this win, secured their best OWC ever with this match, having matched their top 16 finish from OWC number 1. Despite Sweden's best efforts, they would go no further than losers round 2 this year. Good luck to Sweden in 2026. France versus Japan would go almost exactly the same. France opened strong with their own first pick on Nomad 5 before taking breakpoints on both Japan's first and second picks of Hard Rock 3 and Free Mod 1. Japan finally won their first and only point on Nomad 2.
Unless they all break right now, this is done and dusted, and it's going to put a point on the board to avoid the sweep here for this Japanese side. Took them until map number 6, but there we go.
But France swiftly dispatched them on Nomad 4 the very next map for a final match score of 6-1.
Just the barest drop of blood shed by France losing on that Nomad 2, but other than that, have looked dominant in this matchup.
Despite this loss in the top 24, Japan's rebuild year cannot be called anything but successful. They went from seed 28 in qualifiers to a top 24 finish, 3-0ing their group and upsetting seed 21 Thailand in the process. While no one member took the spotlight all tournament long for Japan, some shoutouts should go to Furumoon, Shoponpon, and Rafuna, who were all in the top 4 of Japan's individual performers in group stage, round of 16, and quarterfinals, and were all rookies this year. France taking down Japan meant they faced off against New Zealand next. France had the higher qualifier seeded coming into this match, but only by 1, while New Zealand was the top seed out of their group compared to France's second seed after losing to Chile. France had the better start to this match, picking up an early breakpoint on New Zealand's first pick of Nomad 2.
To not only match the 1v1, but they need support as well, and there goes Kyujin again.
Not much time left, only chance for New Zealand as the flash drops in the end and Osberg goes all the way, but I think the map is just ending, and there we go. France by 100k opening with a breakpoint.
France would consolidate on their own first pick of Hidden 3, but only by 200k. New Zealand then proceeded to wipe the floor with them on DT3, winning by a staggering 1.6 million team score, the highest of the weekend, and setting the best team score of the weekend on DT3 in the process.
Still finding more misses. They are tapped out. Osbert won't be going with the back-to-back full combos, but still a phenomenal score as Kyujin. Seikyu looking for the 2-way FC to even surpass their score yesterday by quite a margin. Will they do it? 3.7 million scoreline, 2 full combos, winning the map by over 1.6 million. Just a show of dominance on this DT3.
New Zealand would then win a total of 5 maps in a row, including more huge margins of victory on Hard Rock 1 and the best Free Mod 1 team score of the weekend, alongside breakpoints on France's Nomad 3 and Free Mod 2 picks, with Free Mod 2 needing to be seen to be believed.
Osbert and Seikyu can hold. There'll be just enough time, but also the recoveries on New Zealand need to hold. The score's just about to flip. There's so little time left. It's going to come down to the wire here. New Zealand takes it right at the end. Do they find a break? No, they don't. There's basically nothing left in New Zealand off the back of the double hard rock once again from Osbert and Saiku. Just take this heartbreak for France as the worst, most tragic thing that could happen. The double break point into a New Zealand 4-2 after winning 4 points.
France would find their own dominant win on DT4 by over 600k, but at this point, the damage was done. Up match point, New Zealand picked yet another mechanics map in the DT1 remote control and won the match with a 678k score lead. France, much like Japan, had a rebuild year this year. They fostered 3 complete rookies in Satsuki, Jordy Greep, and Japwhite, who all played their part very well for this roster and went beyond expectations in some cases, like with Japwhite's double S on DT1 in the round of 16 versus the USA. While the rookies have been the talk of the team, credit for this performance has to go to their 5 returning players who made up much of the core roster this year, including Musty, who played his 15th OWC this year. This loss means France exits top 16, equivalent to their qualifiers placement, and while they still haven't quite regained the strength of roster they had in 2016 or 2022, their best years, this year marks the first time since 2022 that they have improved their year-over-year placement. And once again, much like Japan, people should be looking forward to a brighter future for this team. New Zealand, meanwhile, find themselves in the top 12 for the first time ever. Remember when I said they were top 16 in OWC number 1? Well, that's a bit disingenuous. OWC number 1 was single elimination, and there were not even 32 teams in the bracket. Because of that, some higher-seeded teams got byes straight to the round of 16, including New Zealand, basically meaning they didn't have to play a round of 32 match. That New Zealand team lost that round of 16 matchup, meaning they were top 16 with a 0-1 record. New Zealand this year has had a very different World Cup experience, going 3-0 in the group stage over Romania, Indonesia, and Finland, then beating both Sweden and France to advance to the top 12 with a 5-1 overall record, their only loss being to the UK. They fight next week against China for a spot in the top 8, with both teams looking scary after the last 2 weeks of bracket
their
stage.
highest placement since the very first OWC, where they finished 9th to 16. So New Zealand, they've been chasing these semifinals since the very first OWC, and they are finally back 40. They're going to be moving on.
Our next matchup to cover is Norway versus Turkey, which most people expected to be pretty one-sidedly Norway favored. While Turkey does have Raikkoho, the number 2 overall performer this weekend, Norway has Neneric to match him and a better supporting cast to smother the team scores from Turkey. Norway opened this match up with a breakpoint on Turkey's first pick of Fremont 2 by just 145k, but didn't stop there. They also won their first pick by a huge margin, and Turkey's next pick by about 180k before barely taking the win on their own DT2 pick.
Either way, it is dead even now in the break. They see that Raikkoho has missed. Eric with the 600 combo, soon to be 700. Clutch with the now 600 combo. And it is Eric to fall. He finds the miss. It's all to play for now for Clutch. He has to combo through the final chorus and then the outro. It's all on him.
The scores flickers back over. 100 doing his
Nobody
best
misses.
to support
100
a couple.
now.
There goes the
It's
break.
the only chance to bring it back for Norway. And then big chain miss. Huge chain miss. 40,000 points given over to Norway.
Turkey finally won a couple of points on Fremod 3 and Nomad 5, getting the number 2 team score on Nomad 5 in the process.
Roster for Turkey, surprisingly enough, and now getting the highest score in the lobby on the reading pick against the reading boogeymen. And I mean, the 600k score difference, the trap has been set, the break point has been planted, and Turkey gets their second one on the table.
This, however, would be the end of Turkey's run in OWC, as Norway proceeded to best them on the last 2 maps of the match in Hard Rock 1 and Hard Rock 3, earning themselves the number 2 score on Hard Rock 3 this weekend. While this loss in the top 24 is worse than last year's top 16 result for Turkey, it is still an improvement on their 26th seed from qualifiers this year and a continuation of the Raikkoho era for them. Norway, meanwhile, still look for another win against the winner of our next match, Brazil versus Finland.
To the finish line, Turkey trailing. Raikkoho doing all he can. 96%. Yolkspie finally falls on the 92, but there is too huge of a lead now. It is two FCs still carrying them home. And Raikoho, Shinkiro, Orke, Spray, don't look now. You're going out, guys. You're going home.
This match turned out to be quite close, in large part due to Korea Maluko being sick with a fever this weekend. Despite that, Brazil still managed to close it out 6-4. This match started off with a trade of points, Brazil winning the Fremod 2 first pick and Finland winning their DT3 first pick by 170k after accounting for Teiko's 750,000 score, which unfortunately happened during a disconnect. We then got a very close point for Brazil on their own hidden 1 pick by just 42k.
And that is going to be the hope for Finland gone. That big jump section right near the end was his undoing, holding the double S for so long, but not to be, and it will be Brazil just barely managing to eke out the win on their own hidden 1 pick. Man, Allerdy was so close to a miracle.
They also managed to take the breakpoint against Finland on Nomad 2 by just under 200k before winning another point on their Nomad 4 pick by nearly 500,000 points. This put Brazil up 4-1 to start the match off early, though with only 1 breakpoint, they would need to keep this lead. Finland fired back with a win on their own hidden 3 pick by 240,000 points before taking back their lost breakpoint on Hard Rock 3.
Going their way into the last moments. And no one player, the hero this time around. It was a team effort. It was Allerdy, it was Zeppe, and it was the contributions of Colin Liu and Civilju as well. And man, you feel for Kagi.
They would then win their own Fremod 3 pick by 150k to tie things up 4-4. Just like that, Brazil's lead was gone, but just as quickly, they were able to take the lead back and win the match, winning both their own HR1 pick and Finland's last pick of Nomad 3 to close it out. For Finland, this loss marks their 6th top 24 finish in a row, tying them for the longest consecutive streak of identical bracket stage finishes with the USA's 6-year win streak. For Brazil, it means they enter the top 16 once again to face off against Norway without their star player.
Without Corian Maluko present, and they're gonna go on. Norway awaits them in their next matchup as they get past Finland at a very close score margin of 6-4.
This match would mark another seeding upset from qualifiers. Norway came away the victors after a back-and-forth 6-3 match. It started off pretty close, with Brazil winning their first 2 picks of Hard Rock 1 and Hidden 1, and Norway winning their own first 2 picks of DT3 and Nomad 2. Then, disaster struck for Brazil on Hard Rock 2, with Norway taking the win and a breakpoint by over 400k.
Score in favor of Norway right now.
Yeah.
This is not looking good for Brazil.
They're running out of time. They need to see a collapse from Norway, at least a double miss, something. Yolk's Pie goes, trades Takio. Shock also going down, not helping Brazil. Norway with 3 players over 500 combo into the final sections of the map, looking to put this to bed.
Brazil would take the next pick and another breakpoint on Norway's Fremod 4 pick by a very close margin.
Snap! No, it's not. We're getting debated. What is happening?
What I need? No. Hold on.
My brain.
Norway did lose. Okay, for those in chat that are wondering what the hell just happened on that entire map, Norway lost the pick by 93,000 scores. So whatever those ending 2 misses were, did not exist.
However, after this, it was all Norway and by a huge margin of difference on most maps. Notably, Norway's wins in this match were all by a big enough difference in score that even if Brazil had Korea Maluko, even if you replaced the worst score on Brazil with an FC for every map, they still could not make up the difference on any map aside from Hard Rock 2 and Nomad 4. This means that despite missing Korea Maluko, Brazil likely would have had an incredibly hard time winning this match, likely losing it regardless. This marks another top 16 finish for Brazil, their 4th in the last 5 years, and an improvement from their top 24 finish last year. For Norway, this win is the first time they've made the top 12 since 2018, and their first major upset win in years. Congratulations to Norway, and good luck in their match against South Korea in the semifinals.
More than enough in this match, and on this map, 750k, the highest score in the lobby by a margin that is unspeakable, even over their own teammates.
The 6-1 scoreline in our next match, Chile versus Austria, hides just how close this match really was. Chile took a breakpoint on Austria's first pick of DT3 by only 175k and won their own Fremod 2 pick by 135k before finding their footing on DT4. This, however, pales in comparison to the second closest map of the weekend and Chile's second pick, Nomad 3. A similarly close map happened again on Hidden 3, with Chile winning it by only 120k before Austria finally found a point for themselves on DT1. Unfortunately, that would be the only point they found this match, as Chile closed this out on the next map, Nomad 2. Austria, despite losing this match 6-1, lost 4 maps by a combined 456,000 points. This is an absurd stat that showcases just how close this match really was and how differently it could have gone depending on the day. For Austria, this top 24 finish as seed 17 out of qualifiers is a marked improvement over last year's disappointing top 32 finish, and it's the first time Austria have won a match in OWC since 2019. Those interested in underdog matchups should definitely be looking out for Austria next year. For Chile, this win means another top 16 bout against the winner of our next match.
A tiny win of sub 25k, but it's Chile to take another point. That's 4 in a row. That felt dangerous, but they managed to hold on nonetheless.
This next match, Romania versus Taiwan, was the match of the weekend, and it was clear that might be the case from the very first map. Seriously, if there's any match where you just pause this video and go watch the match, make it this one. Taiwan opened with Nomad 2 as their first pick, which ended up being the single closest map of the weekend.
Backing combos to combat against Flyers' high combo, and the only high combo remaining on the side of Taiwan. This will be shifting over to Romania at the very end here. Is there enough time, though?
Romania would go on to win their own Nomad 5 pick by 280k, with Taiwan responding with another win on Fremod 1 by about 190k. Romania would then create a huge score gap on Hard Rock 3, winning it by over 850k. This made the match a tied 2-2 after the first 4 picks before Romania took the first breakpoint on Hard Rock 1 by 140k.
Romania looking way too good on this. Origin and Eternum doing so much good work early on. Really making it happen.
We were talking about Origin's accuracy early on, but Willie with the casual 98.88% highest hack in the lobby on that map.
Romania's versatility served them well with their next pick, going from hard rock stream mechanics to anti-mod reading and precision on the Fremod 2, and winning that by over 800,000 points. Taiwan would then take another extremely close win on Fremod 3 by only 80,000 points to earn their third point in the match.
Let's see. Break there from Alex Balea surely seals it. That's going to be it. 300 combo on the end there on the hard rock for Willie. But in the end, they can give Ethan a pat on the back for pulling him through that second hard part and getting the point on the board. There's still life in Taiwan yet. No match point for Romania.
Romania would take match point next on Hidden 2 by about 450k. Up 5-3, they now had 2 chances to close it out cleanly. Taiwan would win their next pick, DT1, by another extremely close margin, only 111k. Romania now had to close this match out on their last pick, and they went with Nomad 3. Unfortunately, Lady Luck would not smile on them today, instead granting all her power to Gao Hao on Taiwan.
Close out the FC and get us to the first tiebreaker of the weekend. My God, he is.
He's just going to run away with this. It's 2k combo. I think that's a lead from Badiou. I think it might be because the stream's a bit behind.
Yeah, the stream is a bit behind, and even then it wouldn't have mattered. This FC from Gao Hao is just... what a performance.
Taiwan, seed 26 out of group stage, now forced the tiebreaker against the 12th seed Romania. On paper, this matchup should have been one-sided in favor of Romania, but Taiwan showed not just that they have the ability to make it close, but that they have what it takes to keep up with the big boys in the quarterfinals, with Gao Hao especially showing off once again on the tiebreaker. With this win, Taiwan become the victors of the biggest seeding upset since Ukraine's 2023 upset win against Indonesia in the round of 32. That upset, however, was in round of 32. This is a comparable seeding upset, a 14 seed difference from the qualifiers, but in quarterfinals. That round of 32 map pool back in 2023 was only a mid 6-star pool. This quarterfinals pool is much, much harder, including a literal 8-star map in remote control and mostly 7-star maps throughout the pool. This is the single biggest seeding upset in the quarterfinals round over at least the last 6 years, from 2019 to 2025. And while the earlier years become much, much harder to check, and so unfortunately I didn't have the time to do so, I'd bet that remains true far back into OWC history as well. If anybody has the time to check in the comments, please leave a comment below. I will pin it so that we can have some accurate OWC history. Thanks in advance. Massive props to Taiwan for eking out the win in this matchup and clutching up on so many points when it mattered. For Romania, this top 24 finish is a huge disappointment. They underperformed their seeding by 2 rounds, and they lost 3 maps by super close margins. 2,000 points on Nomad 2, 80,000 points on Fremod 3, and 111k on DT1. They very well could have won this match on any different day with just a little bit more map on Nomad 2 being the difference, but fate would not smile on them this time around. Better luck to Romania in 2026.
At the very end here. Absolutely stellar performance from him on this. Countering Eternum's high combo. Just once again, team consistency on Taiwan. No one below 450k. Everyone having a shining moment on this map. Gao Hao to push them over the edge. And it's going to be enough for Taiwan to do a crazy upset. 26th seed has just eliminated the 12th seed from qualifying.
While Taiwan was able to find the win against Romania, Chile would prove a much tougher opponent. Chile turned up the amp a bit this match, setting much better scores all around against Taiwan than against Austria and winning the match 6-2. Chile started things off with a breakpoint on Taiwan's first pick of Hidden 3 by a massive 700k before winning their own first pick DT3 by only 175k. Taiwan would find their first point on HR1, but by a meager 52,000 points.
Might start spiking here for these guys. They can't let go just yet. Chile are on the ground, beaten and bruised, praying that Taiwan don't overtake in time. There's only so little time left. Taiwan, they managed to break it through. What looked like a dire scenario seems like it's paved over as Taiwan take it.
Chile, however, would not be deterred. They immediately set another great score on DT4, making them both the number 2 and number 3 team scores of the weekend on Ravers Fantasy.
It's over 600k on every member for them, and near 3 million team score this time around. You mentioned the 2.8 last time, but what an improvement for the Chilean roster, confirming that 3rd point on the board in a very quick fashion.
While Taiwan would find one more win near the end of the match on Nomad 4 by only 67k, Chile would win without much trouble overall, closing it out on DT1 by over 600k. Taiwan, despite this loss, finished in the top 16 for the first time since 2021, marking their 3rd year in a row of year-over-year improvement in their placements. This year's performance was, in large part, due to the addition of rookie Gao Hao, no doubt their star player in the match against Romania, along with continued rock-solid performances from core members like Willie. Chile, meanwhile, advanced once again to the top 12. They look to match their top 8 performance from last year, despite losing Santana and Mathy, but to get there, they'll have to go through Germany. Best of luck to both those teams in the semifinals, and to all the teams we've discussed who made it through to the next stage of the OWC World Cup 2025. See you next weekend.